Every person alive knows what fear feels like. That tightness in the chest, that whisper in the mind, that hesitation in the body. Fear shows up when you are about to step outside your comfort zone. Fear shows up when you are standing on the edge of change. Fear shows up when your life is asking you to rise higher than before. But here is the truth that too many people ignore. The fears you avoid don't vanish. They remain. They sit quietly in the corners of your mind. They grow in silence. They shape your choices. And in the end, they become the limits of your life. Think about it. Every time you avoid a fear, you give it more power. Every time you turn away, you make the wall higher, the chain stronger, the prison tighter. You may not see it in the moment, but slowly, without realizing it, you shrink your world. You say no to opportunities. You say no to possibilities. You say no to the chance of becoming more. And then one day, you wake up and realize that your life is smaller than it was meant to be. Not because the world limited you, but because fear did. But fear is not your enemy. Fear is a teacher. Fear is a mirror. Fear shows you exactly where your growth lies. Wherever fear stands, that is the direction of your freedom. Whatever you fear to face, that is the very place where your strength will be built. Fear is not here to destroy you. It is here to challenge you. And when you walk toward it, when you refuse to let it control you, it begins to shrink. Look at the moments in your past where you grew the most. They were never the easy times. They were never the times you stayed comfortable. They were the moments you were forced to confront fear. The first time you tried something new. The first time you stood up for yourself. The first time you risked failure, risked rejection, risked falling short. In those moments, you felt fear burning inside you, but you acted anyway. And on the other side of that action, you grew. That is the secret. Growth always hides behind fear. Your best life is always on the other side of discomfort. The doors to success are always guarded by fear. And if you don't step forward, you will never walk through them. But too many people spend their lives avoiding fear. They build routines that keep them safe. They choose paths that feel secure. They stay in relationships, in jobs, in habits, not because they are fulfilling, but because they are familiar. They tell themselves it is safer this way. But safety can become a prison. Comfort can become a cage. And the tragedy is that by avoiding fear, they avoid life itself. Every dream you have will demand that you face fear. Every goal you set will require that you confront the voice that says you are not ready, not strong enough, not capable enough. Fear will whisper, "Don't try. You'll fail. You'll be judged. You'll be rejected." And if you obey that whisper, your dream dies before it even begins. But if you rise, if you walk toward it, you prove that fear was never the truth. It was only an illusion, because most fear is not real. It exists only in your mind. It is the imagination projecting worst-case scenarios. It is the mind exaggerating danger to protect you. But how often have you faced a fear and realized it was smaller than you thought? How often have you stepped into something terrifying and discovered that it wasn't nearly as bad as your mind made it out to be? That is the nature of fear. It appears bigger than it is. And the moment you face it, its power crumbles. The only fear that destroys you is the one you never face, because when you run from it, you teach yourself to obey it. You give it permission to control you, and it grows. That is why the fears you don't face become your limits. They become the invisible chains that hold you down, the invisible walls that stop you from moving forward. But here is the miracle. When you face fear, it transforms. Fear becomes courage. Fear becomes power. Fear becomes the very fuel that drives your growth. Every time you confront fear, you expand. Your world becomes bigger. Your confidence becomes stronger. Your limits dissolve, and your life opens up. So the question is, how do you want to live? Do you want to stay small, boxed in by fears you never faced? Or do you want to rise, to expand, to live fully by stepping boldly into the things that scare you. The choice is yours every single day. When you feel fear, that is the signal. That is the compass pointing you toward growth. Do not turn away. Do not avoid it. Walk straight toward it. Even if your voice shakes, even if your hands tremble, even if your knees feel weak, step forward. Because courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is action in the presence of fear. And here is what happens when you act with courage. You break chains. You break patterns. You break the cycle of limitation. You prove to yourself that you are stronger than you thought. And once you taste that freedom, once you feel that power, you will never want to live small again. Fear will never disappear completely. As long as you are growing, fear will appear. As long as you are chasing dreams, fear will whisper. But instead of seeing it as a barrier, you must see it as a guide. Fear shows you where your next level is. Fear shows you where you are meant to go. Your future self is waiting on the other side of fear. The person you want to become, the life you want to live, the success you want to achieve, it is all there, waiting. But you must pass through the doorway of fear to reach it. Do not let fear steal your destiny. Do not let fear write your story. Too many people look back at the end of their lives and realize that their biggest regrets were not the things they did, but the things they didn't do because they were too afraid. Do not let that be you. Do not let your life be a story of limits. Let it be a story of courage. Every time fear appears, see it for what it truly is. An invitation. An invitation to grow, to rise, to break through. Say yes to that invitation. Say yes to courage. Say yes to life. The fears you don't face will become your limits. But the fears you do face will become your strength. They will become the stepping stones to your greatest victories. So face them. Step into the unknown. Walk into the discomfort. Embrace the challenge. On the other side of fear is freedom. On the other side of fear is power. On the other side of fear is the life you were meant to live. Rise. Confront the fears. Break the limits. And live the life that is waiting for you.